Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome all of you here today and thank you for coming. My name is Kevin Stanfield. I'm the acting Deputy Special Agent in charge of the Miami Field Division. In March of 2010, DEA Miami, along with the Attorney General's Office, Broward County Sheriff's Office, Sunrise Police Department, Hollywood Police Department, and Miami Gardens Police Department, initiated an investigation on the Real Care Medical Group. During a 6-month time frame, Real Care Medical Group purchased over 430,000 dosage units of oxycodone. During the course of this investigation, not a single undercover agent posing as a patient ever received a medical examination, nor did the clinic physician, Dr. Lynn Averill, review the medical forms. As a matter of fact, most of the visits were conducted in Dr. Averill's office, which didn't even have an examination table. Undercover agents overheard employees of the clinic discussing bonuses that they would receive for processing 29 to 30 new patients a day. During every undercover visit to the clinic, undercover agents could overhear the patients in the waiting room talking about how far they had to drive to the clinic, illegal drugs, drug prices, how to conceal the drugs, how much they could sell the prescriptions back home for, and about the referral fees they would receive for bringing other people in as patients. During one undercover visit, an undercover agent told Dr. Averill that he had no pain, but he was sniffing 8 to 10 oxycodone 30 milligram tablets and 10 oxycodone 80 milligram tablets per day. The undercover agent asked Dr. Averill how many tablets would it take for him to die. Dr. Averill never answered the question, but asked how many Xanax did he want. When the undercover agent said that he didn't want any Xanax, Dr. Averill said they will help you sleep. On another visit, Dr. Averill informed the undercover agent that there would be a $50 credit toward the cost to fill a prescription if the undercover agent utilized the Real Care Medical Group's clinic's pharmacy. The undercover agents and other patients were able to cut their waiting times and visiting times by paying cash and moving to the front of the line. On several occasions, the pharmacy tech asked Dr. Averill why she was increasing all her patients' dosages and prescribing oxycodone and methadone to most of them. Dr. Averill would shout back, "Because I'm a doctor." The investigation revealed that the Real Care Medical Group was clearly being operated for the purpose of making money and not for providing adequate medical care. The Real Care Medical Group was owned and operated by Richard Philippoff, Calvin Bynum, Prismell Mason Jr., Nikhil Bashan, who owned and operated this clinic along with 3 others in the state of Florida. The 3 other clinics were the Central Florida Wellness Clinic, located in Orlando, Florida, the Liberty Medical Group, located in Jacksonville, Florida, and the Rapid Treatment Solutions, located in Boynton Beach, Florida. A financial records review conducted by the Broward Sheriff's Office of Strategic Investigations revealed that during a 27-month time frame, the 4 clinics made over $3 million. A large portion of this money was filtered back to Philippoff Incorporated. The individuals charged during this investigation and arrested today are Dr. Lynn Averill, Richard Thomas Philippoff, who is the owner and manager, Diana April Philippoff, the Real Care Medical Group Director, Calvin Myers Bynum, owner, Omar Lorden, manager of Real Care Medical Group, Keith F. Patnell, an employee, and Nikhil Bashan, owner-operator. The charges range from racketeering, conspiracy to commit racketeering, and manslaughter. Unfortunately, 8 patients died within days after visiting with Dr. Averill and receiving multiple prescriptions from her. According to the toxicology report, the majority of the deaths were contributed to multiple drug toxicity. When agents executed a search warrant at the clinic, they found a patient discharge list created by the medical tech who worked there. The list contained the names of the now deceased patients. This list was generated only as a reminder not to call them for the monthly visits. We'd like to tell the family and friends of the deceased patients that the individuals responsible for the overprescriptions of medications that resulted in the deaths of their loved ones will be held accountable to their actions with the charges that were brought forth today. In closing, on behalf of the men and women of DEA, I would like to thank our state and local partners who are standing here with us today. I'd like to recognize Pam Bondi, the Attorney General for the state of Florida, Broward County Sheriff's Office, Chief John Brooks from Sunrise. Additionally, I'd like to thank Miami Gardens Police Department, Hollywood Police Department, and Metro-Dade. This investigation would not have been possible without the assistance of the Florida Attorney General's Office and the Office of the Statewide Prosecutor. We appreciate the Attorney General's unrelenting support and cooperation on all matters. I especially want to thank Deputy State Prosecutor Julie Hogan for her outstanding efforts in leading this investigation, Assistant Statewide Prosecutor Marjo Alexis, the prosecuting attorney, and Nick Cox, the statewide prosecutor. And now I'd like to turn the podium over to Attorney General Pam Bondi for comments to discuss the state charges. Thank you.
Thank you, Assistant Special Agent. Thank you so much. And this once again demonstrates why we can be so proud to live in Florida, because you have federal, state, local law enforcement working hand in hand together to put people behind bars who are committing horrible, tragic crimes here in our state. Again, I want to thank Julie Hogan, my deputy statewide prosecutor. Nick Cox couldn't be here. And Marjo Alexis for your unwavering work and support on this case. Thank you. And thank you to our police chiefs and our sheriff, and to DEA for bringing us this case in 2014. This case came to us in 2014 because thanks to incredible police work, they realized, I mean, these cases are so paper intensive, and they realized that there were deaths involved, homicides involved. And if you look at the time frame, and I don't know if you caught what acting special agent said, but in 2010, in a 6-month period, and let me use this word, the former Dr. Averill, she has had her license pulled, of course. The former Dr. Averill purchased 400, I'm going to get this number right, 437,880 oxycodone pills. It's outrageous in a 6-month period. That was before our legislation when she purchased that amount of pills. That's why we fought so hard here in the state of Florida to put these pill mills out of business and basically drug dealers wearing white coats. So we did everything in our power to put them out of business. And of the top 100 oxycodone dispensers in the entire country, 98 of them lived in Florida. Now we're down to 0. And that's in part thanks to the great work of the men and women standing behind me. Our hearts go out to the victims' families. They were addicts. They became addicted, as we all know, to oxycodone. And if I can send a message to any families, any citizens watching this, if you have oxycodone in your medicine cabinet and you no longer need it for legitimate medical purposes, turn it into your law enforcement agencies. They will take it from you. We don't want our kids getting this out of medicine cabinets. That's why DEA, that's why our sheriffs, that's why our police chiefs, that's why we do drug take-back days, for that very reason, because it's so incredibly addictive. And this shows that. This former doctor is charged with using pain medication as a death-dealing profit center. And to anyone who does this, we will find you, we will charge you, and if you are convicted, we will give you a new medical office, and that's called Florida State Prison. Questions?
Why did it take so long to arrest them?
Well, the case came to us in 2014 because thanks to all the great police work, I mean, again, we have 8 people charged in this case, and they're all business associates. We have 1 former physician, clinic owners, clinic operators, victims from all over the country, really, other states. Our victims are from Florida and other states as well. It was a very paper-intensive and technical case, and I think when law enforcement, I can't speak for them, but they started looking at it, they realized there are homicides involved here. And
so did undercover officers go in 2010
do you want to take that?
For both your questions, originally the case was with the U.S. Attorney's Office. Once we determined that we had a number of deaths, we took it to the state because we figured that would be the best venue for the prosecution. So far as 2010, there were 5 different undercover agents that went into the clinic. They went in multiple times and they purchased oxycodone.
So during that time, were they then charged with racketeering, or were there other charges, or there were no charges until right now?
The charges were made right now. We did do a search warrant on the clinic, and the clinic did shut down. Most of the owners and the doctor, they went to other places. They found other lines of work.
So what happened between 2010 and 2014 when you received this case? What happened in those 4 years?
The clinics, all those clinics that I mentioned, all of them did close down. And so these people, Dr. Averill, I think, lost her license in 2010. I'll have to check that. But they weren't operating clinics after that time.
Okay, so then they were, in 2010, they were shut down and they faced other charges because of the investigation from the undercover detective?
Not from that investigation. Dr. Averill was involved in another investigation that we had, but this is a separate investigation.
The people who died all went to that plantation clinic, or obviously?
Yes, they did.
They were all at the plantation clinic, and how interesting that one is called the Wellness Center, isn't it? I think that was the one in Orlando, right, Marta? But we did charge them all with racketeering. Do you want to hear the penalties involved? For former Dr. Averill, up to 180 years in prison. There's a married couple, Richard Philippoff. He's facing 180 years. Wife, Diana Philippoff, facing 60 years. Lorden is facing 60 years. Petnell, 60 years. Bynum, 120 years. These are maximum penalties. Mason, M-A-S-S-O-N, 150 years. And Basom is 150 years as well, maximum penalty. We charged racketeering. We used these deaths, the dealing, as predicate acts, and as well as manslaughter charges.
Are they all charged with manslaughter?
No, they're not. No, they're not. We have paperwork. That's what we've been working on all day, redacting the paperwork for you. Because there are deaths, there are very few redactions. But when you see redactions, you'll obviously know why they're redacted, social security numbers, etc. But we have all the paperwork for you that lays out all the charges. We've got it all for you. I think Mia has it for you.
How many deaths in this operation?
8 charged. 8 charged deaths.
So before today, most of them were working in clinical field or other jobs?
Well, Dr. Averill better not have been, because her license was pulled. Her license was pulled. And again, our legislation was passed my first 6 months in office because I was going around the state, and I was a prosecutor for almost 20 years, and I had no idea we had 7 Floridians dying approximately a day here in our state. And that was outrageous, because this was unreal that it was happening. You know, that this woman had purchased almost 500,000 pills in a 6-month period. There is no legitimate purpose for that, none whatsoever.
Help me understand the timeline. I'm just trying to figure out, 2010, you have undercover officers go in and speak to this doctor. Then the license is taken. What happened?
Okay, in 2010, that was during Operation Kill Nation. There was actually, we were going after 65 different clinics. So by the time that's why it's taken so long. This is just one of the many clinics that we went after. This is probably one of the most complex because of all the deaths and with the manslaughter charges.
So 2010, you're undercover officer. I'm just trying to figure out where these people went in the meantime, 4 years past. Where'd they go? Were they going?
You have them doing everything from working at a Ford dealership to they found other lines of work.
So that particular location on State Road 7 was closed down in 2010 after Operation Kill Nation, the first phase.
Yes, we did a search warrant. When we did our search warrant, they had actually went out of business before that. We were able to get the medical records, but they had gone out of business.
And then they scattered, and then you ended up finding them later?
We found them, yeah. We found them and arrested them today.
If you look, their new residence is the county jail. These are booking photos.
So what was phase 2? Phase 1 was going in undercover,
Phase two was doing the search warrants. With cases as complex as this, you've got to go in, you've got to get the medical records. We have thousands and thousands of records. You have to go through them. You have to have medical experts to go through them to see if there was a medical necessity for them to be able to get those prescriptions. It's a lengthy process. It's not like going out and finding somebody with a kilogram of cocaine. It's a lot. You've got to have medical experts come in, doctors come in. It's a long process.
When you mentioned medical experts, I was reading the press release that was put out. The expert indicated that there were 9 deaths. But
8 charged.
is there any reason why that 9?
All we can talk about are the facts in the affidavit now. 8 charged. 8 charged. 8 victims charged. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but you had asked a question. Four defendants are charged with the manslaughter for the case. So.
And who, can you tell us which one?
Sure. Former Dr. Averill, Richard Philippoff, Bazem, Mason.
And actually Calvin Bynum also. I'm sorry.
Oh, and Calvin Bynum also. 5. Charged with the manslaughter. But when you look at the number of years involved, just to explain it to you, that the racketeering is a first-degree felony, the manslaughter is a second-degree felony. So they're looking at much more time, the one with the racketeering. So, any other questions?
And one is still at large?
One is still at large, yes.
What is being done to find this person?
I would think everything in the power of the people behind me to find him, and I would suggest that he turn himself in as soon as possible.
He not listed on here, or he's listed on here?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right there at the bottom.
Oh, so he's still.
I can't see that. But I would suggest that he turn himself in.
Were all of them, were they all arrested in Florida, South Florida? Where
Florida.
was he arrested?
2 were, what's trying to say?
One was in New Jersey and one was in
Chicago.
The rest were all in Florida.
I-
Did they change their names? Were they trying to hide?
No.
Any arrests made in South Florida? I'm sorry. We're just trying to figure
Yes.
out. They were
Yes.
arrests made in South Florida?
Yes. Palm Beach County.
Dr. Averill.
Dr. Averill, former Dr. Averill.